One feature in the Build Back Better plan is a provision which would fund preschool for 3 and 4-year-olds. Now, this pre-K proposal carries a $110 billion price tag, but educators have called the proposal revolutionary, as it could essentially add another grade level to school systems. The program would also be universal. But before the plan even passes, it may actually be in peril. The thing is, Republican governors can actually choose to opt out of the program. And because there is no uniformity in distributing these federal dollars, the quality of education could vary vastly state by state. A report from the National Institute for Early Education Research gives credence to the need for universal pre-K. It points out that most states don't spend enough per child on high-quality, full-day preschool, which Build Back Better would provide if passed. Early childhood education is a game changer for Black and brown communities where children face what some call a readiness gap, in which they enter school with less language and other learning skills than their white counterparts. According to a 2019 study by the Education Trust, our babies represent only 4% and 1% respectively of those 3 and 4-year-olds with access to high-quality preschool. And the consequence is that too many of our kids begin elementary school already behind. Joining me now to talk about universal pre-K is LaDon Love. She's the executive director of Spaces in Action. Welcome to Amplified, LaDon. First, I would just like you to tell us about your organization, because you lead a campaign that secured almost $16 million in D.C. for childcare and healthcare services for young families. So in the big picture, tell me how deep the needs are and what are they for the average family that you work with?
So the 16 million was the year before. We actually, with the campaign that we worked on, and it's a lot of different organizations who are part of it, $75 million is now coming into the early learning system in DC. And it's monumental. This is game changing, and it's something that needs to be done all across the country. There's so many families who cannot afford childcare, and we know that childcare is needed for families to go to work, for families to go to school, and for families to advance their career. And we want to make sure that this investment is happening. In DC, what's happening right now is there is a task force that is working to put together guidelines for how the $75 million will be spent over the next 3 years. And this is a really big deal. But the 19 million that you talked about was really key too. There's something in DC called the Birth to Three for All law, and that includes both education supports as well as health supports. And we know that young minds, it's not just about the education and play, but there's also social and emotional development that needs to happen. Our organization does work in DC and in Maryland. In DC, well, I would say we're a membership-based organization, and we are about lifting communities up, and our membership is primarily Black and brown families.
I want to talk about the price tag just for a moment, because every time there is a policy measure that has spending involved for people on Capitol Hill, Republicans in particular balk. Oh my God, this is so expensive, and we can't even count the billions and trillions, and God forbid that, you know, Black and brown people actually benefit from some of the spending on education or healthcare or whatever it might be, right? There's always oh my God, this is going to contribute to the deficit, right? As if investing in people, aka human infrastructure, you know, shouldn't be the top priority. I think it's the top priority. I'm listening to you talk about how you have, you know, $75 million. I mean, these big numbers that you're throwing out there are only for District of Columbia and maybe, you know, some small parts of Maryland. So if you multiply that by 50, right? Just thinking, or 52, or however many, you know, we have states, and then we have, you know, all the other municipalities. That's a lot of money that we need to invest here. And so the balking at the price tag just frustrates me so much, because you even need more, I would imagine. Share with us a bit more. You started to talk a little bit about the benefits of universal pre-K, but could you just walk us through from a developmental perspective why it matters so much that our 3 and 4-year-olds have access to early education?
Mhm. I would say it's so important because that first 1,000 days of life is a critical time for the development of the brain. And teachers, early learning educators, the providers that do this service, first of all, they're underpaid. And we need a deep investment in childcare. So the 75 million that I talked about is DC and specifically about DC. But when we talk about Build Back Better, we're talking about around $400 billion coming into the country that needs to be disseminated across the nation. So it's going to be really important that families, that the providers, that the teachers, that the governments in those states, and in the situation for DC, the District of Columbia, that we, the people, are a part of the process of talking about how that money should be spent. Right now in DC, there's a cost of care study. And based on that, it's based on providers making about $15 an hour. No one can live on that. A lot of times people who are doing this really crucial work of developing young minds are making wages that allow them to be able to receive social service benefits. We want to make sure that we're able to raise the floor and opportunities for all people who are responsible for educating young minds. And like I said, it's so crucial because if we do the investment early, the return is greater when they get into the higher grades. You yourself said so many young people are starting school and not able to read, maybe not able to recognize some words and letters, colors, being able to write their name. This is something that early learning educators work to help young people do, and they help the parents. So this is something that needs to be invested in. I also want to note that Nixon failed us. I was too little to know anything, if I was even born then. But Nixon missed the opportunity to invest in childcare because he vetoed it back in the early 1970s. And Congress now has the opportunity to right the wrong that has happened. Nixon left America's children and families behind. Congress now has the opportunity to invest not only in the families, but the children who are going to be the leaders in the days to come.
Well, another reason for us to kind of, relegate Nixon off into the pile of presidents we don't really like. But talk about the Birth to Three campaign.
So in DC, we have a campaign. So this piece of legislation is really crucial because it was passed because providers, policy folks, and community folks work together. And so much so that they all use the same language. We need to have a program that supports children's development. We need to have a program that supports families. We need to have a program that supports children who are having social and emotional delays or challenges so that they can be helped so that they can advance themselves for the long term. And as a result, Birth to Three for All was put in front of the city council. But it's so powerful because the language that was used to talk about it was utilized so consistently that the council began to use the same language. The legislation passed in 2019, but a year and a half or a year before that, there was supposed to be universal pre-K, universal childcare, and early learning got left behind. That's Birth to Three. But universal pre-K is something that is in place in DC, but it still needs more money because not every single child can access the program. So it's one thing to have the program, but we also need to make sure that the investment of dollars is there. That's why Build Back Better is important, and that's why local dollars being invested into early learning is so crucial.
And what do you think is going to be the fate of pre-K, early childhood education in Build Back Better? Because I hear people saying that, oh, it should be need-based. The word universal keeps getting questioned. Talk to us about where we are with that in the bill, and what are you looking for?
Well, we don't want any more cuts. Our children, our families deserve this investment. And like I said, America failed our children and our families. We don't need to have a repeat of that. We need to make sure that the Senate passes Build Back Better. Congress has already, the representatives or the House has already passed Build Back Better. We're waiting for the Senate to now put its vote forward. Here's the other deal. We need to make sure that this is done by December 28th, because if not, the child tax credit will not continue to send out checks come January, right? So there's so many reasons for this to move forward. Early learning is one
Yep.
aspect, but we need to make sure that other things are also included. You talked in your previous segment about housing. If we could make sure that child tax credit moves forward, something as simple as $350 could make a difference for families paying their rent, paying a medical bill. You mentioned that $500 is the difference between someone being able to take care of their needs or not. Well, this $350 per month per child is something that could help a lot of families. So if a person has a child that's 17 and younger, it's likely that they'll be eligible for some child tax credit. And we want to make sure that that keeps coming in. But we also need to know that that's coupled with early learning, right? These people are not flat. We are multidimensional, and our issues are interconnected. We need to make sure that we're talking about the totality of the story. And we want to make sure that America's families, and when I say America's families, I mean people living in America, need to be taken care of because we are vital to the economy. And I want to say our economy, not the economy, because we have accountability to make sure that it is working for all of us.
LaDon Love, I always love to amplify people who are doing the real work on the ground where we can see policy in action. Executive Director at Spaces in Action, thank you so much for being with me tonight here on Amplified and for sharing. Appreciate you.